Welcome out to Lealand Lane. We just wrapped this project up. Shea did all the architecture. Bentley Palmer did the interiors. We're gonna give you an in-depth walkthrough, so come on. So some of the highlights in this house, we're 3,800 square feet, 2 levels, 2-car garage. We are right in Nashville, kind of between Oak Hill and Forest Hills, close to Lipscomb, so fantastic location. All right, so back to the actual house. We're here in the foyer. Nice entrance, got a beautiful staircase, beautiful light. And this actually ended up being a happy accident. So below a lot of stairs, you end up with some dead space, and sometimes you can throw a return in there, or you can access that space from a closet. This here is just a coat closet. We got some of the low voltage in there. We felt like that was the right size for a coat closet, so I didn't really want to make that larger. So we came up with just adjusting the framing at that frame stage and push all this back. And we intentionally left this up high here so we could still run the full-size baseboard across here, but it just really created this nice kind of built-in look here, so you could fill this full of art or books or pictures, whatever you want to do here. So I think that this turned out really nice.
You probably make a nice spot for our shoes too.
Yeah, there you go. So little shoe storage here for guests. All right, continuing on. So throughout, you'll see this hardwood. This is all from Textures here in Nashville. Beautiful product. We've really enjoyed working with them. I think this is our first project with them, and now we've got 4 or 5 that are either in progress or upcoming, and I've just been really impressed with their product. They install it, so I always love that when the same person providing it's also installing it, so it's a nice clean handoff there. While we're on this, I want to talk through these stairs. So these are all actually site finished, even though, I mean, you really can't even tell the difference here. So this is all white oak that was installed at the trim stage. Same with all this handrail. So this all came from Husky, our trim supplier, and then we had to finish it later on site. But our painter did a fantastic job staining and finish this to match the engineered hardwood. So again, the floor all came pre-finished. This stuff was all raw wood, so it had to be finished on site. So to be able to get this clean of a look really worked out great. I'll go more into these stairs later once we go upstairs. All right, so continuing on in the foyer here, you've got a nice little kind of landing space here. We'll go to the right first and talk about these built-ins. So this was site built as well. Sometimes they do cabinet grade for this kind of stuff. Sometimes they do site built. So our trim guys actually built this here on site. Beautiful window, dropped the soffit, put this little monopoint above it. So this is a really cool area. This particular home's got a great neighbor with like really pretty landscaping. So you've got a really nice view through here. I could just see family pictures set up on this. And then you've got extra storage here for blankets, for games, whatever it might be. And this would be a great spot to kind of park. I think we all probably have junk drawers in our house, so this would be a great spot to just park all your junk here. This is the first time we've seen this before. So the typical setup for vanity mirror, vanity light above, but this is actually kind of an offset look here. I think this turned out really pretty. And then this pedestal sink here as well with some nice decorative legs, just a way to dress up the powder room. In this room, you don't need a lot of storage for towels and extra things like you would in a bathroom. So you really got the chance to kind of play with some design elements here. And that's what Bentley did on this one. All right, we'll keep on going with our tour. All right, next, you're stepping into a big family room shared with the kitchen. So beautiful space where you really spend probably 90% of your time. So we'll start here in the family room. We've got this beautiful fireplace that kind of centers and anchors the whole room here. Went with the fireplace insert with just logs. The gas is off right now just due to it being summer, but you would just hit a switch. Those logs light up. It is actually vented, so you're not going to get that smell that you would sometimes get off of a log set. And then for the surround, we've done different options in the past where we built trim and painted it. We've done a countertop material like a quartz or granite around, but this one we actually went with an archistone finish. And this is actually a finisher that Bentley brought to the table, and they did a beautiful job. So she kind of gave them some inspiration. They built the template, built this on site, and you can actually really do any color that you want on this. And this thing turned out great. And we did the same finish here on the hearth as well. So just one uniform look all the way up. I think it turned out really nice, and we're doing these a lot on homes and on this hood as well over here, which I'll show you in a minute. All right, either side of this fireplace, you've got big beautiful built-ins, so tons of storage in this home. This would be ideal for a family where you've got games and blankets and toys potentially, but you could really fill these up with pictures, with books, all kinds of little art pieces. And again, you've got great natural light on both sides. Really like how, because these are 10-foot ceilings in this home, so sometimes it can feel a little bit too large to have these bookcases go all the way up. So having these drop-down soffits on either side really helped bring the ceiling down in these spaces, and just again just made it feel a little more I don't know, cozy and warm, I guess is how I would describe it. So really worked out well. Again, still got the beautiful view of that. I think that's a crepe myrtle. I'm not the best with my trees, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Again, all these were site built, so you can see they're still all soft close. Got some really simple hardware here for them, and then adjustable shelves. So you can see all these little pinholes here. So it's pretty common for us to do adjustable shelves, just because people aren't for sure where they want to put everything. You've got taller books, shorter books, different pictures. If you're doing whiskey bottles here, so you've got some flexibility with this. Most of the decorative lighting in the home is going to be from Visual Comfort. Actually, I think everything did except a couple pieces. So you'll see that throughout the home. While we're on lighting, all the architectural lighting in the ceiling is going to be a 4-inch fixture that actually is able to move a little bit. So upstairs, we'll show you some cathedral ceilings where you're actually able to use those lights and have them still point straight down. Got to talk about this slider. So we went with Pella Lifestyle Series from Pella of Nashville throughout the entire home. And that's really our kind of like bread and butter product. Great look, really good value, performs great, and you can get lots of different colors and grids. So this is a big 8-foot tall, 10-foot wide slider here. I mean, it feels great to go back to your backyard. Let's see, going to the kitchen here. This is kind of the heart of the home, so always the most to look at, the most detail here in the kitchen. And we'll start off with the cabinets. So Opus did all the cabinets. This is one of their, not their top of the line cabinet, but I think their second tier down. So we're able to get all inset on this entire cabinet, which I think that's just a very pretty look and really goes with the traditional style of the home. And we went with the painted cabinet for all the perimeter. You can see all those here. And the island, we ended up going with a wood stain product here and an overlay door on this one. We got all the accessories, of course. So we got a slide out trash can here. We went all panel ready appliances. So this dishwasher is nice and hidden there, so you can't tell it's a dishwasher. Microwave drawer, we've been doing a lot of these lately. It's fairly common to see, but these are fun to use. I'm not sure if this would last in my house. I could just see my kids hitting that over and over just because it's kind of fun to do. I even enjoy doing it. Let's talk about the hood. So this hood is going to be actually very simple in design. You can see just a really straightforward box essentially. And we built this out of lumber, installed our hood insert, and then put that same Archistone finish over top. So if you get close, you can see some of the pitting in there. And it just makes for a very pretty look, and just a way to break up, instead of a huge wall of cabinets where it's all the same, this just provides a little bit different texture in there. Thermal appliances. So on this one, we went with a cooktop, which we do a lot of ranges, so it was kind of nice to do a cooktop. We just don't get the opportunity to do those very often. So thermal cooktop, and then a matching, in the same series, the matching double oven here. So that turned out great. And then while I'm on appliances, I'll show you the fridge. So again, panel ready fridge. Love the inside of this. I think that's super pretty. It's actually got some features that it's got some cameras in here. It can tell you if you're low on groceries. So it's got all kinds of fun stuff that you could do with that. A couple freezer drawers here. Got your ice on this side. You could put kind of like your more everyday grab and go. Actually, I'm wrong on that. I'm sorry. You can actually set this to be fridge or freezer. So say you wanted to have all your canned beverages in there, you could set this to just be a beverage fridge, and this could remain your ice machine. So you got some flexibility here, which I think that's actually super neat. And then of course you got a big pull-out freezer there. both sides of this cooktop. Of course, it's a very pretty kitchen, but also needs to be functional as well. So both sides, you've got some functionality. On this left side, you've got a place for spices. So you can put all your salt and pepper, all your different spices for cooking in there, all of your olive oils. And then this side, you've got a lot of space for utensils. So you got storage for spatulas, knives, spoons, all that kind of stuff there. So love to see a very pretty, but also very functional design. Backsplash, so I'm not a very big, bold design type person. So this kitchen really kind of speaks to me, where it's a subtle change. It's, you know, similar color to the countertops into the cabinets, but you've got a little movement in this liege tile that's gonna not be uniform. There's no spacing between the tile. It's still grouted over, but you don't have that super clean, uniform look. It's a little more messy, and I think it's a very, very pretty look that we're doing quite a bit now. Casement window in the kitchen, love seeing that. So you can, if you burn your bacon, you can open that up and let some air get out. All right, let's move on to the dining room here. This is one of my favorite rooms in the house. I love a round table dining room. I think it's super unique. Not something that you get to do very often, but this room is set up perfectly for it being a square. It's a good size too, so you could actually go a little bit larger table, and you've got room for a bar cart still, or you could even do like a big hutch with your more you know, higher end china, stuff like that. And then it's got triple windows on both sides, so a ton of natural light coming in. Went with a darker, moodier color in here, which I think feels great in a dining room. Just really feels comfortable. I mean, I could just see like conversations going late into the night here. It'd be a good game room. Some extra trim details in this room. We just added a chair rail, and then it's the same base that's throughout the rest of the home. And then color-wise, if we're ever doing a darker color, we try and match our outlets and all of our devices to that. So you can see on this one, we went with a black device here. We could probably get a gray, but sometimes it's better to not try and match it exactly, because it's just tough to do to get the exact right match. Let's go check out the pantry real quick before we go upstairs. All right, so off the mudroom, you got garage here, mudroom, and then just to the left, so you're just right off the kitchen. You know, the working pantry, scullery kitchen, the second kitchen, prep kitchen, those are all super popular. We don't quite have that here. There's no appliances in this area, but we do have it set up to where you would have space and enough counter depth to be able to plug in a toaster, a blender, your coffee machine, so you kind of hide some of those smaller appliances in here. And then just going with a dark paint just makes it feel a little bit more elevated, and just makes it a little more fun to come in here and actually use this space. So this is all site built, built here, painted here. Yeah, turned out great. All right, let's go upstairs now. All right, on the stairs. So Bentley provided an inspiration picture for these newels and for these handrails. It was actually harder to source than we thought, but our guy Anthony over at Husky ended up coming through and got us all the different parts here. And I really love the simplicity of it. There's not a ton of movement to it. These newels just get gradually larger as they go down. And then these spindles are really just a nice straight rod, so nothing too crazy there. And then love some stairway lighting, of course, so love to see those. It's bright now, but if it's morning or sunset and you've got these on, it just creates a super cool vibe in this space. So upstairs hallway here. So we're leading back to where all the bedrooms are, but we got two upper windows that light up the stairwell, kind of flood the whole space. And then you've got open railing all the way here as well. You can really just see how pretty. I don't mean to keep going on about the railing, but I just think this turned out really, really nice. All right, let's hit this homework desk area. So I had this space here. It's like, what do we do with it? You could, maybe throw a couple chairs and it's like a reading area, but we decided to kind of like gear this toward kids. So we've got two actually homework spaces here. Got some plugs set up, got some overhead lights, 3 drawers in the middle for storage, and then you've got a room for 2 chairs. So this is all built on site by our trim carpenter as well, and turned out to be a pretty functional space. All right, into this bonus room here. So this would be, kids' playroom. It would be your movie room. We got it set up for a TV, but I love these windows. We did the transitions on top as well, so you get a ton of natural light. I love the casing detail. I didn't talk about that yet. So kind of the more traditional casing here, and really turned out pretty. I like this. This room just feels very welcoming and open. You know, hindsight, what I would have changed is I love levels. So if you could have stepped down to this room, it would have just felt a little more cozy, and like you got 2 steps down, maybe like do a big rug, or you do carpet in this room even. So that's just stuff for us to think about down the road. And when you're over the garage, you normally have that opportunity because the garage is going to be dropped. So you got the ability to drop the floor here as well. So we're in Nashville, so we're always high design. So you step into the laundry room. This isn't your average laundry room. We've got a really pretty floor here. You've got different color patterns, creating this checker pattern here. You got a dark, moody cabinet, a leathered granite up here as well. I don't know if you can see that on camera. And then an awesome sink. So you've got beauty, you've got functionality, and you've got a really nice view to the front of your home here as well. So if you're up here washing clothes, folding laundry, you've got a nice place to do it. End up putting a rod here. We got that left to be done, and you can hang clothes, all that stuff. All right, let's keep on moving. All right, so one big long hallway here, servicing multiple bedrooms. So there's 4 bedrooms up here and 4 bathrooms. So each bedroom has its own bath. This is the only bathroom that's got a separate door to the hallway that's meant to function as the bathroom for that bonus space. If you've got guests over, this is where they would come. So lots of pretty tile here. I'm not going to talk through every single detail of it, but this floor turned out great. And I will show you one element, which you come around here. Yeah, so that looks cool. Yeah, if you step back a little bit, similar to the soffits downstairs over the built-ins, really common for Shea to drop the shower ceiling over here. So imagine you've got a shower door here, and this just feels a little warmer, like that kind of steam stays in the room, right? And I think this is a really smart idea. When you got tall ceilings, but you still want it to feel intimate, you can just pick and choose areas to drop that versus having just a super tall ceiling and your glass stops here, and like all that heat just kind of dissipates out. You see kind of, I don't know if you can get this on camera, but same thing here. Just subtle. It just feels like you're entering a new space because you got this dropped header here. And again, you've got cased openings are common, but this is just really just an enlarged cased opening that just feels a little bit different. Go in this bedroom real quick. I love a white ceiling fan. This is something I never would have thought of, but I see a lot of designers do it now, and it just really goes away. I love a fan, but sometimes they can be pretty ugly if it's black and you're just drawing your eye to it. So I thought that was really smart choice by Bentley there. Another bathroom here. So I'll just show you one of these closets, but they're all pretty much the same. So standard on most of our homes would be these built-in closets here. So not just wire shelving, not just 1 or 2 shelves. You've actually got shelves that move up and down. You've got the ability to customize it again. All right, we're in the master bedroom now. This one's got a vaulted ceiling, triple window into your backyard. I love the grids and the trees. It just feels so, not to be cheesy, but just kind of elegant and just classic. And this just feels awesome to look out and see all that. So I love this look. The taller ceilings here, again, you've got those can lights that actually can, I'm drawing a blank on what you call that when they pivot. Yeah, there's some, anyways, I can't think of the right term for that. Pretty ceiling fixture. We got ceiling speakers in here so you can kind of play music throughout the home. But now let's go into the master bathroom here. So went with the same line of cabinets in this room as well, which is common in the primary to kind of, you want to spend most of your dollars for cabinets in the kitchen and in the primary. So did the full inset here. You got a his and hers, so left and right side. And then I love the tower in the middle. You can just hide all that stuff away, keep your countertops clean. and this helps kind of divide the space. I know, like my wife and I, like I would love to have separate so that I don't have to see all of her stuff. So I think this turned out great. 4 really pretty sconces. So freestanding tub here, tub filler. Love having the window, letting that natural light in. And then that leads right to our tile shower, which I'll be honest, when this tile first arrived and I saw it out of the box and it was these different shades of brown and tan, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna look good, but this came together. And this is why we require interior designers on all of our projects, because they make us look really good. They pick the beautiful finishes. They know what's on trend. They know it's gonna look good. And we're good at executing, but I'm not always the best at picking out what's going to look best or what's going to coordinate. So this whole shower just turned out great here. All right, lastly, go check out this closet. So common for us to do built-ins on site. So this is all built by our trim carpenter. Again, so we got a stack of drawers here. You've got adjustable shelves that you can actually move these pins up and down, move these how you want. You got hanging storage, you got suitcase storage, or we're in Nashville, so you got your cowboy boot storage up there. An area here for some longer dresses potentially. If you've got some more of those, you got some trench coats potentially. Lastly, shoe storage here. So this is common for us to do. You slightly angle this so that you've got a nice shoe display. You can prop up all your shoes here and really see what you got. And again, just some larger storage down there for suitcases or boxes or whatever it might be. All right, so that's going to conclude our tour, and I appreciate you guys coming out, and follow along for more.